You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's me, your host, Tony B. Um, this is our special Friday edition of the impact of the coronavirus on South Seattle and surrounding communities. Waiting for Glenn Turner to join us from the emergency feeding program, and I think that we are going to have him on the phone. Is that correct? So, we'll be finding out here pretty quickly about what's going on there and how things have changed over the at least since the last time that we had Glenn on the program. The last time that we had Glenn on the program, that very same day, they were vandalized and some damage was done to one of the refrigeration trucks. And they lost a lot of food during that time. I think that I have on the line with me now Mr. Glenn Turner. Mr. Turner, how are you?
Good. How are you, Tony?
Under the circumstances, fantastic.
That's great.
Great,
That's great.
great to have you back with us again. And, I just wanted to check in with you and get an update. But for anyone who may be unfamiliar about the emergency feeding program, who you are and what you do, can you start off by sharing some information with us for those who may be unfamiliar with the emergency feeding program?
Yeah, sure. We are the emergency feeding program. We have been in existence for 45 years in this community. I've taken over for the last 8 years. And we have really expanded our operations during the time of COVID. Um, we are providing about 500,000 plus meals a month. Um, so we've really taken on the challenge of making sure our community is fed in this time. Um, we're a small staff still, but we produce a lot of food. And we distribute a lot of food. I'm currently looking at because it's expanding so rapidly, picking up another delivery vehicle. So that's why I'm
Wow.
out and about. I have to do that. But we want to make sure our community's fed. We want to make sure people aren't. I'm sorry, I'm in my vehicle right now. We want to make sure people are adequately fed in the community. We provide good, nutritious, healthy food. We work with several different vendors in the community. We provide fresh food to our program, fresh fruits, vegetables. We have meats, um, butter. I mean, you name it. We're like a mobile grocery store at the state. So, yeah, anything that people want, we try to provide to them. And just trying to meet the challenges of today, Tony.
I was mentioning earlier in the program that the number of people getting COVID 19 every day in Washington is higher now than it has ever
Yes,
been.
yes,
Hospitalization rates are rising throughout the state. The increase in the number of young adults who are getting COVID 19 is leading to an
yes.
increase in the number of children and teens who are getting COVID 19. Now, at one point, we were on stay at home lockdown. That's changed, but these numbers have increased. How has this been impact? And again, I mentioned that I think that's starting tomorrow. Folks who are receiving that extra $600 a week
Right,
from the federal government for unemployment, that's going to stop unless something the 11th hour comes in and changes
right,
that.
right.
So to start with, have you seen an increase? How has this? We know that the numbers are increasing, and again, it's not like it went away. It's not like and this thing was this ended. How has it been impacting you in regards to the need for folks to make sure that they can continue to eat healthy and feed their families?
Well, just as with what you just previously discussed, um, we get requests on a almost daily basis now. So the number of organizations that we're serving is growing at an exponential rate. Um, and by the grace of God, we've developed enough partnerships in the community and with food service organizations that we're able to meet that demand. Um, so I can tell you, it becomes more and more challenging every day. But by the grace of God, we're able to keep up with that demand that's currently affecting us.
Let's do this right now. For what are the things that folks can do who are listening right now to assist you to help you out? I know money's good because you can do a lot of things with money.
Right, right.
What can folks do? Are you looking for volunteers? Again, money's good. Where and how do they donate? Maybe you need food, maybe you don't need food. What can folks do? How can they assist you in this effort right now?
Well, as things expand, I mean, like I said, we have a good connection for food, but there are some operating costs that go along with that. As I spoke to you earlier about, I'm looking for another vehicle to be able to expand our delivery network. But with that, we have to raise funds to, not only procure those vehicles, but to sustain them, making sure they're in good operating condition, keeping the maintenance up, and that takes dollars. So, our program is always open for donations in a monetary sort. We we always use volunteers to help come and sort the food and package the food. It's just overall effort, making sure that we can continue to serve the community at a high level.
For folks who want to donate, how can they do that?
They can go to our website, which is the www.emergencyfeeding.org, and click on the donate button. They can also mail to us. We're in the city of Renton, but we service all of King County, parts of Pierce County, Snohomish County, and they can reach out to us by dropping it in the mail. Our address is 851 Hauser, Houser, Way North, Renton, Washington, 98057. That's the other way that they can help support us.
Okay, give folks all that information about donating one more again, please.
Okay, you can reach out to us through our website. That's www.emergencyfeeding.org, or you can mail a donation in to 851 Hauser, Houser, Way North, Renton, Washington, 98057. Those are the most efficient and effective ways to get a donation to us.
And you also mentioned that as this growth is happening, there's an increased need for volunteers. So I guess that
Yes.
again the same thing. What are you? Is there any skill set or anything in particular that folks should be aware of if they're interested in volunteering to participate? Do they need to be able to lift 50 pounds or anything that you're looking for in particular?
Uh, Not necessarily. Well, our staff, we our guidelines are being able to lift 25 pounds. You have to wear non-slip shoes. You have to abide by the rules of COVID nowadays. We do only allow a maximum of 10 people in our warehouse based on our size. Um, we want to make sure that we continue to practice safe spacing within our environment. So those are things that are mandatory. Um, and then just understanding that we need support Monday through Thursday in sorting food. We have a good volunteer core, but we like to rotate people around so that people don't get burnt out because it is highly repetitive. So those are some of the challenges that you'll face when you come to volunteer for the emergency feeding program.
Now, Glenn, we talked about this needing another truck. On the one hand, it's growing. But what that means is that there are more folks in who are needing your services. I know that you couldn't predict. No one could predict, the coronavirus, COVID-19, and what's been taking place here over the last 4 months. But did you? When you decided to vest yourself into making sure that our communities needed food, needed a reliable resource for healthy, nutritious food, did you ever imagine something like this happening?
No, I mean, this is totally unprecedented. I don't think anybody could have predicted this.
Hmm.
The challenges we faced in the past, I think you could almost predict because, you had precedents that had already been set. You knew the number of people in our communities that were needing food, and so you could almost predict the rate of growth, just based on the number of people moving in, the birth rate, things of that nature. You could almost predict how many people you're going to need to feed. But in the case of COVID, um, this is like a storm, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's like a hurricane out in the ocean. It's just generating energy. And one of the things that we try to at least stabilize from our perspective is making sure that we have contacted and reached out to as many organizations and businesses that provide food, and and try to partner with them to make sure that we can help meet the demand in the community.
Is as you at this point are facing this, and one of the things you mean, you need to get another truck. Glenn, how do you prepare for something like this, knowing that by the time folks come to you, you are potentially the last resort to them eating, the last resort to families being fed. They're not coming to you; they're coming to you because they're hurting. How do you prepare for this, Glenn? That's the first question, and my second question is going to be, how has this impacted your staff? But the first thing is, how do you prepare for this?
Well, I don't think there's any real preparation that you are ready for in these cases, because there's no way we can predict, when any type of pandemic or epidemic or anything comes about, how widespread it's going to be. All you can basically do is condition your program to, be ready for emergency situations. Um, and it's not that we knew that our situation would grow so rapidly, but because we have looked at, um, well, let me just back up a second. Because we have worked with Renton Emergency Management Group, and got the training through them, we knew from the beginning, when the pandemic started to flare up, that we had to go into that emergency management mode.
Mhm.
And by doing so, I think it helped us to prepare for everything that has happened after that. We built up our staff. We built up the number of sources where we get food from. We've developed new logistic practices. We basically reached out to those in the community that could help facilitate this epic change and kind of put the pieces in place as we moved along.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. It's me, Tony B. This is our special regular broadcast that we do every Friday on the impact of the coronavirus on South Seattle and surrounding communities. My guest is Mr. Glenn Turner, Executive Director of the Emergency Feeding Program. We're talking about how over this course of this last 4 months, initially when this thing happened, yeah, there's this crisis, but this has been going on for 4 months now. I mentioned earlier the number of people getting COVID-19 is increasing. It's higher now than it's ever been. Hospitalization rates throughout the state are increasing. There's even been the creation of Team Med Surge, which is a mix of personnel from the Washington National Guard and Department of Health, Ecology, and Transportation. Their purpose is because of which will soon be, if things continue in this way, hospital beds. There will be a lack of hospital beds, and so Team MedSurge has been put together so that they can create essentially these 30 to 40 bed facilities in a matter of 48 hours in case that need is there as well. So the other question that I was going to, and thinking about all this stuff as we're looking at that, we see what it looks like. How has this impacted your staff? Now, I had the opportunity to come down there last
Hmm.
Tuesday,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
remarkable facility and organization, and folks happy to be there and doing what they're doing, and passionate and caring about what they're doing. One of the things that struck me, and I won't mention a name just because I haven't asked if I could, but for someone to tell me, you know what, it was more important for me to do this than another passion that I had, which was music. I put that music career on hold because people are in need. People need food, and this is important.
Yes.
How has this impacted your staff?
Well, I think it takes its toll on everybody at some point through the week, um, throughout the month. But we've discussed as a staff, what we need to do to help our community. Um, and I kind of handpicked everybody that's come into my organization. We have a lot of young people, which I think is a great lesson for them to understand that they play a huge role in the direction of humanity and in their future. And this is just a great opportunity for them to learn about crisis issues and how to handle those things. So my staff is very eager and very well trained to manage through these situations. We know that people that come into our organization are most of them are in a kind of a panic mode. So, we've developed some training practices to help our staff understand that, you have to handle these people with kid gloves almost. There's an opportunity at this stage to really help someone and help a family get through this crisis at this time in their life. So, the impacts I feel are pretty great, but my staff and how we work to keep things in perspective, I think they've really taken a liking to this type of work and what we do to help the community. I think they can see, that if we continue to provide good, healthy food to folks, we make a difference in so many people's lives. And, in knowing that, I think that's what rewards them.
Well, you are definitely making a difference in the lives of people at probably one of the most critical times in their lives. So once again, Mr. Turner, just kudos to you for what you have done, for what you are doing. Your staff. You talk about essential
Yeah.
workers.
Yes, very much so.
That doesn't get more essential, than being able to provide food, and then in addition to that, you also make sure that you provide healthy, nutritious food as well. Just the big supply of vegetables and fruit, and just again, I don't know it. Again, I think if maybe at this point people can't come down, I would recommend that people take a tour, but I'm sure that you don't need a lot of people coming down there. But it was just amazing to see the operation down there, and again, the attitudes of the folks who were there, just so positive, in particular when you're dealing with folks who are in a crisis at that
Yeah,
time. So first, let's do this one more again. For people who want to donate, let's share that information. For folks who want to volunteer to be part of helping, share that information with us, please.
absolutely. So if you'd like to donate, you can reach out to us via our website. That web address again is www.emergencyfeeding.org. Um, and then if you would like to mail in and or volunteer, our address is 851 Hauser, Houser Way North, Renton, Washington, 98057. Now, I must say, with volunteers, there is a short form that you can go to our website and fill out as well. Once again, that website address is www.emergencyfeeding.org. There's a lot of information on that website that will provide you with directions on how you can volunteer, how you can donate, and then just answer other questions that you might have. It also lists out information about the poundage of food that we distribute on a weekly basis to our community. So, reach out to us. Like I said, we've been around for 45 years. We've done most of that through, just being in the community, getting small donations, micro donations, and moving forward. But we're in a crisis, and the best thing that you can do in a crisis is gather together and try to help each other out. So that's the initiative that we've taken on. Every dollar counts, every minute counts. So if you'd like to help in either of those ways, please reach out to us.
I know there was some thought, at least maybe hopeful for some folks, that as the weather got warmer, then this would abate. Hasn't abated. It's gotten worse.
Right.
And heading into the end of the summer with the fall coming in, I think people just need to be prepared. Thank goodness that you are there and what you're doing. And as we're talking about this, Glenn, I'm saying to myself, wow, this for you and your staff, this is just going to ramp up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's your thought, and the way that you're approaching this with the positive attitude. Man, any opportunity that we have at Rainier Avenue Radio to share your information, please let us know. If there are things that you need, we'll be happy to get the word out for you. And I want to give you the opportunity here for final words before we say goodbye.
Thank you, Tony. We really believe here at the Emergency Feeding Program that we're in a time where people need to unite. We need to understand that we can't get through this situation without working together, creating solutions that are going to not only help us as adults, but really provide a future for our youth. We're in one of the biggest challenges in the history of the United States, in the history of the world, I think, at this stage. So, let's put aside all of our differences, all of our concerns, and just, I would believe that if we just focus on, getting through this crisis as a unified body, that the world will come out on the other end as a better place to be. So, with that being said, the emergency feeding program is here. We're willing to be part of that charge or even lead the charge, um, even from a community standpoint, to make sure that we are helping and we are helping people to understand how to help. So if you need food, if you want to help or come down and volunteer, please reach out to us. We stand for more than just those things. We believe that we only survive if we all survive. So let's get together and create a new atmosphere for this country and become citizens. That's a strong word. Being a citizen means that you are civilized to everyone and that you're willing to work together to make sure that your community is strong and it thrives economically and health-wise. So those are my words of wisdom. I stand here and I wait for you to reach out to us in whatever way you see fit for you, and we'll be able to respond appropriately.
Thank you for being there. My guest again, Glenn Turner, Executive Director, Emergency Feeding Program. Send them your donations. Again, this need is going to continue to grow. We're talking about growing for Glenn. That means he's got to get another truck to help feed more people. Let's make this happen. Let's take care of each other. Thanks again. Glenn, you're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio, our special Friday edition of a broadcast of the impacts of the coronavirus on South Seattle. A little later in the program, we'll have some folks here from Stay Safe Streets, and we'll be talking to them about, again, the impact of the coronavirus. Some of our streets are going to be closed for the rest of the summer until September 8th to allow folks a place to walk, to ride bikes, to be gather, social distancing themselves without worrying about being hit by a car. We'll let you know about that in the neighborhoods here in a little bit. We'll be back after this. Thanks again.
Oh, yes, it's
Thank you.
late night.